So that is something which needed to be looked at, and nobody is talking about it. And I did not really listen to Prime Minister Modi's speech. And I'm going to be honest here. The reason is because I don't trust that he will tell the facts to the public. He came on the TV after so long, and whatever he must have said over there, to me, that is all propaganda. And that propaganda actually added to more alienation of Kashmiris from rest of India. After this incident, all the Kashmiris were behind 100% behind the government. Why? Because there are other reasons also. Everybody has to put the food at the table for their family. And this was the beginning of the tourist season for Jammu and Kashmir, especially for Kashmir. And also, they have their, agriculture products, whatever they have, whether they have apples or some other form of fruits and some agriculture. This is the time when they actually expect that they will make the money, and during the winter, they can eat and have the food on the table. That was very important to them. But as soon as immediately after this, when the government sent out the soldiers to go and arrest without any, search, any doing any detective work, looking into it, just go and arrest the people. Why? Because they want to consolidate their Hindu votes behind themselves, because they are openly talking about, that they were saying, okay, are you a Hindu? Shoot him. Are you a Hindu? Shoot him. For me, what's the difference between them and you when you target the other community just because of their faith and religion? This is a community in the rest of India also who actually had the chance to go either with Pakistan or stay in India, and they chose to stay in India because they saw their future, a better future in a democratic and open country which will accept person of every faith. It was like that until slowly and surely these things are totally changed now, which I think I will need the whole show to talk about it, which I will try to do if I can. So, and then you see this guy who actually jumps into running water, escaping from either the cops or the army, and he dies. Why? Because probably he preferred death like that than getting arrested and putting behind the bars, where there will not be a single hearing for next couple of years. Why? Because they have this law where it was originally TADA, now they have a different name for it, where they can arrest a person and keep him behind the bars without producing him in front of a judge for years. There was this engineer, which I talked about a couple of shows ago, who was arrested, put behind the bars, and I think he also won the election. He ran and he won the election, but he's still behind the bars. He was bailed out by the court. He was given the bail. As soon as the bail was given, he comes out, he got arrested, and he was put behind the bars again. So this is not how you treat a human being, a community, and the whole effort of the government is to make them lesser than a human being. Those 5, 6 people gave more ammunition to extreme right wings. You know, two wrongs does not make one right. And over here, that is what is being trying to be done. So having said that, now coming to in this happening, India at least lost those planes. And when the question was asked that if any plane was lost, the spokesperson did not admit that any plane was lost, but indirectly, yes, they did when they said that, oh, all the people are safe in their own country. Which means what? Literally, it means the person who ejected because they never crossed the L.O.C, the plane was hit, they, parachuted out of the plane after the plane got hit. There was a video also going around, a Rafale being shown to be hit, which I saw. But then again, for me, it was like until and unless I confirm, I don't say it. It was like, when Pahalgam happened, 2019, there was a big deal about an F-16 has been shot down, and later on found out that not a single F-16 was shot down. So for me, when I look at everything, I look with a question mark at the end, more than one question mark. So that was one thing. The other thing which we need to look at and seriously look at, technologically, we know Pakistan is not there where India is technologically, but we know where China is. Western countries know where China is, and India also knows where China is. Okay? So Chinese J-10 plane with a missile from China actually was used to shoot down the planes. For China, it was a test to see how good their advanced ammunition is, excuse me, including the drones. But at the same time, it goes beyond that. It was not just a test for China to test their J-10 and their superiority over Western armaments like Rafale and other planes, but it was also sending a message indirectly to US that we can match you if it comes down to a war. And when Donald Trump, even though you may think it does not link, but to me it does. When Trump said that we are going to impose 140% tariff on anything coming from China, China immediately responded with 125, and they said, the president of China, Xi, said that we will do it till we die, which means they knew what they have. But apparently, the Western countries, even though they're, CID and their CIA people, they know a lot of things, but maybe there was something amiss at that time. Let's take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream. So for China, it was a testing ground for their drones, their planes, and their missiles. To India also, it was a testing period to look at, their air defenses. They had S-400, Russian S-400 system for air defense, which is excellent, known for being really good. And it was good, no doubt about it. So technically, where India stands on this thing. That was important. Also, Western armament, how advanced they are. For those countries, it was important. And for India also, it was important from that angle also, that what is amiss within their armament to make their defense more lethal than what it was. You know, I still remember 1965 war, and Patton tanks were known at that time to be the best and unbeatable in the world. And when the 65 war broke out, the Patton tanks were decimated by the Indian Army. And I don't know how much it is true, but I am assuming it was true, that wherever the Patton tanks were destroyed, that area was, after the war, thoroughly investigated. The tanks were thoroughly investigated. What kind of armament was used to, hit the tanks and make them unusable and everything, So, in this war, now the technology is so much advanced that even the people were talking about, this fight between India and Pakistan as a fight between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine, a small country, is holding Russia, even though they lost some territory, but it is 3 years now, and the war is still going on. And Putin finally is talking a little bit about the peace deal, or or at least a ceasefire. But knowing Putin, he's just buying the time. I will discuss about it, why I say so, in a few minutes. So this was another parallel which was being drawn before and during the war. Again, it is good that ceasefire took place and it is holding, and I congratulate both the sides for that, to agree to the ceasefire, because the ammunition and armaments worth, billions of dollars were used, and both the countries can use those billions for their development. And yeah, that is another factor which actually plays in here. US is taking China as the biggest challenge right now. Russia, not anymore. Okay. So now, because US is the biggest challenge, so what is next? China, they are looking at India. So now this war actually has proved to some extent to US people who are looking at this thing, that where India is today as compared to China. They really don't care about Pakistan, what happens to Pakistan. They really don't. Okay? Pakistan is just a pawn. When those two players, they play the chess, the Sipahi in the front is the first one to die, and that's what Pakistan is for these countries. And India is to the next step after those pawns, after the Sipahi, whether it is the horse or the other one, whatever they call it. But India is neither king nor queen. And when people talk about India being a superpower, I think this is another lesson. They need to really sit back and look at it. That if India is going to be a superpower, the first things which India need to take care of is the poverty and the corruption, which is so much deep-seated in every aspect of the government. And this is where actually the media's role also comes into the play. Remember at the beginning of the show, I was talking about that I don't trust the media at all, because at least under Dr. Manmohan Singh's government, the media was allowed to make fun of him, and he will accept it. He will laugh at it, give a smile, but he will not say a single word. But there was one statement he made, that maybe the media will treat me better after my death. Yeah, they have started doing that. But actually, the history will judge everybody, including me and you. So now, after all this, these are the things which need to be put at the table from every angle and looked at from the Army point of view, from Navy point of view, from Air Force point of view. There was a news that the Karachi port has been decimated. Where? Then there was news that one of the airstrip has been taken out. Yeah, everybody does that. I actually even heard that there was a fighter bomber, fighter plane, not bomber, fighter plane carrying atomic bomb from Pakistan with 2 passenger planes on the side so that they can actually hide it between those 2 planes. And I was arguing with the person who I was having conversation with from India, that atomic bomb cannot be put on a fighter plane. It has to be on a bomber, which is specifically designed to use, fly, and then drop atomic bombs. It is not a kid's play to do that. And yes, let's not forget that part either, that if atomic bombs are used, today's atomic bombs are much more devastating than Hiroshima and Nagasaki ones. And Pakistan, it's a small country, they know it, and they know that if an atomic bomb is dropped on Pakistan, Pakistan will be gone. And if atomic bomb is dropped on India, a big chunk, big portion of India will also be gone. Both the country, they understand that. Both the country know that. Okay? And those places where once atomic bomb is dropped, they get, devastated, and that land cannot be used for decades at least. Even in Nagasaki right now and Hiroshima, the kids who are being born at this point, they have the after effects of the rays from the bombs which were dropped in 1945. Just think about it. So all those factors were also playing in the back. So when these people, those intellectuals from both sides within their country, they will sit down and they will look at it. They will look at it hard, that where they have the loopholes within their own systems so that they can plug it. And in the meantime, the Western countries, especially US, is going to look at India's performance before they really start further reliance on India to challenge China. And of course, China is already at that point where China is willing to challenge US. So for China, India is not really that big issue if we really look at from that perspective. And yeah, I have come to know that Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, he made calls to all different countries during this war going on. Whatever the conversation took place, I don't know, I'm not privy to it, but there is something which I will say here, that in one of the interview which Shashi Tharoor gave, the MP from Congress, I respect the guy. He is such a knowledgeable guy. He did support the government, but he also said that the Indian government, by letting a third country get in there, lost some ground. Let's take a break. After the break, I will be right back. Welcome back to Mainstream with Harpreet again, once again. Now, let's talk in the final segment about what's happening here in the United States. Finally, the Republicans, they have put out the blueprint of their budget. They have cut the Medicaid, and there are issues with that. The President Donald Trump, he is getting a jumbo being, donated to him worth $400 million by Qatar, and he is accepting it, and that is also against the law. And then he is going to keep it. Even though he's saying that, oh, he's going to keep it for his presidential library, because he is looking at the presidential library of Ronald Reagan. He compares himself bigger than any president so far, and it is all his ego. Okay? And he lies so much. And every Republican, I was having a conversation earlier today with a couple of people elected and former elected officials, that how the Republicans, they don't have any bone anymore, backbone. Democrats are still trying to get handle on what's going on. So this is something which actually, the rule of law is being challenged every day. Elected Congress people, elected local officials. The mayor of New York was arrested while he was doing what he is supposed to do. And, Attorney General Pam Bondi is saying that she is going to arrest 3 congressmen, Democrats, for doing their job. And so what is happening here is that I have talked about it before again, and I'm going to repeat it. A groundwork is being laid to, stiff the opposition. If you say anything which is not liked, arrest you, put you behind the bars, and make sure that you, individual, are not really, have the freedom. The freedom of speech is being attacked. The judges are being threatened. Just imagine that you are a judge and you did not order a pizza, and pizza is being delivered to you. It means what? It means, actually, let me say it loud and clear here, that they are sending a message to the judge: either get in line, get behind us, else we know where you live and where your family lives, and rest I will leave to your imagination here. When that kind of atmosphere is created, the innovation stops. They have already stopped innovating. Universities are not getting the grants. The research which was done so far, it is thrown out. And the countries around the world, which actually relied on America as a friend in good or in bad weather, They know that America is not a friend which they thought it is. And they have already started planning to be on their own. It may not happen in next 5 years, next 10 years, but in next 20, 25 years, we will see. You know, when President Trump picks up the phone and calls Jeff Bezos not to show the tariff cost as a cost for the product, and Jeff Bezos goes along with it, what does it mean? It means that Jeff Bezos kissed the ring of the king. Up to that point, he was right where they were, okay, we will add the cost of tariff, how much the tariff is, and what the cost difference is, and what extra the customer is paying. And interestingly, nobody's talking about it right now. The tariffs, those products which are landing right now with tariffs on it, they are going to hit the shelves this coming season, and after that, and after that. Then we would know the cost. Right now, we don't see the cost because what we see here right now is the product which was ordered previously and they were shipped. They were already in pipeline. Like the winter clothes, they start disappearing as soon as we hit the Thanksgiving. Spring comes in, spring clothes start disappearing as soon as the, even before the Mother's Day, actually. I think after Valentine, they start shifting. You start getting the, summer clothes a little bit, and definitely at the Mother's Day, what you see on the shelves is the summer clothes. All these were already in pipeline, and they were paid for, and they knew what the cost is. Right now, they even don't know what the cost will be. Why? Because one day tariff is different, the other day is different. One day it is up, the other day it is down. They just announced that, okay, we had a big deal with China on the tariffs. What a big deal. There's no deal except one thing, that both the countries, they agreed to reduce the tariffs on each other by 125%. Rest will stay. It's not a deal. It is just putting a pause, because the trade deals take years. Like, President Trump declared that he had such a good deal with the United Kingdom, the Britain, but there was no deal except that they had agreed formally to come to the table, talk the issues. I have my issues, which I will share with you. You have your issue, you will share with me, and we'll work on that. And I just heard that, I will confirm later on that India also is planning to put up some tariffs, or more tariffs on some of the US products. Why? Because, that's the only probably language which Trump understands, that, okay. In the meantime, he is in Middle East, he is in Saudi Arabia, then going to Qatar, and then going to United Arab Emirates before he comes back. And over there, he is making his kids, his family is making business deals. That actually reminds me, which I always talked about, that why I respected Joe Biden so much. His son, Hunter Biden, was dragged into this whole investigation. They could not find a single shred where Vice President Joe Biden and then the President Biden played any role to make his son rich. And over here, in his first term, they learned inside what to do, and now they are out there making money, and they already have made billions. And the people who have the money, the oil countries, they are investing in their companies just to be on their good side, so that they probably, whatever the deal they will make, they can have it. But at the end of the day, you know, like they always say, it's not sunshine all the time and it is not rainy all the time. Everything will come and go. The night comes, then the day comes in. Those people who voted for Donald Trump as a president, including our own people, the brown skinned people, if I may say so, they are realizing, but they are not accepting it right now. Show me a single item which has gone down. And interestingly, that brings me to this thing. He just issued an executive order to pharmaceutical companies to cut 30% cost. They are selling, oh, President Donald Trump brought down the cost of the drugs 30%. No. He just told the companies to cut it by that much. The companies don't have that margin. There were few things which Joe Biden had done to contain the cost of the drugs. This president, as soon as he came in, he threw it out. The clean energy is out the window. We are back in where we were. And when we talk about it, President Trump, I'm quoting what he said at one meeting, that I will not be around, so I don't care, which means he does not have any interest for our future generations. So let us start thinking about it. Let us start paying attention to what is being done. Let us start paying attention to all these details and work on what needs to be done for coming generations. With that note, till next time, good night and good luck.